Hello, 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 world. What's going on, everybody? What's going on? Y'all, day one of the 2-day podcast challenge. All right. I'm excited. I'm excited to be here with you. And I wanted to make sure that you knew just a few housekeeping rules. Few housekeeping rules that I want to make sure that you're aware of. One is that you're going to learn something about podcasting. All right. I'm Jonathan Jones. I'm your podcast mentor, if you know it or not. And I'm excited to be here with you, to be diving in, to be rocking, for us to talk a little bit more about podcasting. All right. So whatever questions you have, make sure that you just stay tapped in. Drop them in the comments. Let me know where you're tapping in from. Let me know where you're at. And let me know a little bit about your business. Because tonight, as we get into this podcasting conversation, I want you to know that you're going to take away something, okay? You're going to take away something before our time is done. All right, so go ahead, drop in the comments, where are you tapping in from? Where are you at? I want to know because I want to know who I'm talking to. So let me know, and we might give you a little shout out in the comments. Yeah, look at that. Okay, we got Sister Brumfield. What's going on? DBN family in the house. What up, what up, what up? Glad to see you. Glad to see you. Glad to see you. All right, y'all. All right, let's go ahead. I'm going to drop this link right here. We're live for a podcast challenge. All right. So here we go. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. So the first thing I want to break down is in day one is essential for me explaining to you why it is so imperative that you have your podcast. All right. It's so imperative for me breaking down why you have your podcast. Why is that? All because you having a podcast is your way to connect with the audience at a greater level than anywhere else. Okay? Than anywhere else. John, why is that? Why is that? Let me go ahead and show you. Look, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen because we're going to do a little bit of teaching tonight. But I want to share my screen because I want you all to see some things that I'm going to be breaking down for you just as we go through our time. But first and foremost, the first reason why you need to have a podcast, right? The first reason is going to be this reason right here, okay? So look, okay, let me go ahead and get this big. Boom. So the first reason why you need to have a podcast is this number right here. So there are only 4,249,683 podcasts. All right. Some of y'all might say, John, that's a large number. But wait, here's why it's not a large number. Let me scroll a little bit further. In the past 30 days, we're going to go right here. In the past 30 days, which is a month, right? There have only been 300,000 that have posted episodes. What does that mean? For one, that means if we have over 4 million podcasts that are in the quote unquote index, right? That's like saying there's 4 million books in the library. But the real fact of the matter is, if there's only 300,000 that have posted in the last 30 days, that means almost 4 million of them are not even active. Y'all picking up what I'm putting down? So that means that this is a lower barrier for entry. Why is this a lower barrier for entry? This is a lower barrier for entry because there's over 1 billion Instagram pages. There's over 1 billion Facebook pages. There's over 1 billion TikTok pages. So this gives you the highest opportunity for discoverability. If y'all still rocking with me, let me know. Let me know in the comments. If you're still rocking with me, let me know in the comments because I want to make sure that we're aware that I just dropped a bomb on you just then. I just dropped a bomb on you right there. You know what I'm saying? I just dropped a little bomb on you. But anyway, let me get focused. Let me go to the slides. So for day one, I want us to be focused. I want us to lock in. Let me go ahead and get my full screen. Okay, so this is day one of the challenge. So look, now the question I want you to ask yourself is, what is the purpose of my podcast? Right? What is the purpose of my podcast? And the reason why I want to ask you that is there can be multiple purposes for your podcast. The first one is you just are doing this podcast for fun. Is there anybody here? Let me stop sharing for a second. I want to see. Is there anybody in the room who's just doing a podcast? You want to do it for fun? Talk to me in the comments. You want to start a podcast? You want it just to be for fun? You want to be able to, just do it for fun, have conversations, kick it with friends. Is that anybody in the room? Give me a thumbs up or give me something down in the comments. Right? Is that anybody that they just want to do a podcast for fun? What's up, Higher Heights Group? I see you. What's up, Super Dre? I see you. Okay. So yeah. I mean, some people want to do it for fun, and that's perfectly fine, right? That's perfectly fine. However, if we are doing the podcast to where we want to get paid, because this is the 2-day podcast challenge showing you how you can monetize your message. If we want to get paid, somebody give me some dollar signs in the chat. Give me some dollar signs in the chat, right? So I want you to get clear on this. I want you to get clear. No, I want to make an impact. That's what I'm talking about, Super Dre. I like that. Super Dre said, nah, I'm trying to make an impact. This ain't just for fun. I'm trying to make an impact. I'm here for that. Y'all, and if you're getting value, go ahead and like the video. Go ahead and like the video, and go ahead and share it with one other friend that you know could benefit from this content we talking about tonight. So look, here's the deal. Okay, let me go ahead and share back a screen. So look, you can want to do it for fun. That's okay. That's not what I teach. But then there's the other side to where you can do it for the passion, right? Because you're passionate about this certain topic, right? You're passionate about a certain topic. So therefore you want to further that influence, that impact, because you want more people to know about the work that you're doing. Maybe it's real estate. Maybe it's you're a speaker and you want to get in front of more eyes. Maybe it's you're somebody who's in the position to where you're saying, I want more people to know and understand what my product is and what I teach and what I talk about. So therefore I'm going to dig on the passion. Is that anybody, right? Is that a passion? Or maybe you're mission focused. John, what's mission focus? What's that all about? Mission focus means that you have a goal to help. I'm just going to stick with the real estate example. You have a goal to help 1,000 people purchase their first home, right? So then after that goal or that mission has been accomplished, now either you can create another one or you can wipe your hands and be done, right? So that's somebody who has a mission focus for their podcast, a mission focus for their platform, or you want to be the authority in your industry. We've heard different people say it. We've heard people talk about thought leaders. We've heard different people talk about experts. But who in the room wants to be the authority? You want to own a space. You want people to know and look and say, oh, wow. When I think of real estate, I think of Super Dre, right? When I think of selling, I think of X person, right? So we have to get clear on that first. And that's why I'm breaking this down on day one, because I want you to get really clear on that. I want you to begin to assess and ask yourself, do I want to do this for the authority? Let me go back. Do I want to do this for fun? If you want to do it for fun, get you a mic. You can go on Amazon, buy you any mic on Amazon. You can set it up and you can just record, right? Because you're doing it for fun. But if you're doing it for passion, that's a little bit deeper, right? You're motivated by this thing. You want to move. You want to make an impact. You want to create a goal. But then if you're mission focused, you have to hit the mission. If you don't hit the mission, you'll feel upset. You'll feel frustrated. And then lastly, if you want to be the authority of a thing, like you really like, wait, I want to be that person, right? When they think of this area, when they think of this arena, I gotta be that person. If that's you, I'm picking up what you're putting down. You know what I'm saying? I'm picking up what you're putting down. And then lastly, right? There's one more. Ooh. Lastly, the money. Is anybody trying to get paid? If you're trying to get paid, just type pay me in the chat. If you're trying to get paid, just type pay me in the chat. Pay me in the chat. And the reason why we have to be clear about this up front, because if we're not, then we're already going to be setting ourselves up for failure. Because if we don't have money in mind, then we're not going to get to money. Hello. Okay. So we want to think about that, and we want to make sure that that is in the forefront of our mind. Y'all rocking? Are we rocking? Are we rocking? Are we rocking? Are we rocking? Okay. So now we got that clear, right? Now we got that clear. The next thing that we must identify. I see you, Ruth. Pay me. Super Dre, pay me. I see you. Pay me. Y'all, look, now we got that clear. Okay. So y'all trying to make money. Okay, good. Okay, so we got the first part. We're already clear. We're already good on the first part. Good. So the next thing we got to ask ourselves is, who is our show for? Who is our show? If you know who your show is for, tell me who they are in the comments. Are they real estate investors? Are they podcasters? Are they coaches? Are they consultants? Are they speakers? Are they educators? Who is your audience? Somebody tell me in the chat. Who is your audience? Who is your audience? Who is your audience? Who is your audience? Come on, I need to know. Who is your audience? Talk to me in the chat. Who is your audience? Who is your audience? Okay? Because if we haven't taken the time to identify who our audience is, the first part is this. One, they could be either who you were 2 months ago, 2 years ago, or they could be who you have become, right? So a previous version of yourself, right? So look, take a quick second, and I want you to consider, who is your audience? Who is your audience? Who are they? Who are they? Who are they? Who are they? Because if we don't know, I see you, Greg Ratcliffe, parents, sports fans. Okay, great. Because if we don't know who they are, then how are we going to get to them? How are we going to know the language that we need to use? Right? Y'all, am I freezing? If I'm freezing up on your side, just let me know in the chat. Because I want to make sure that we're good. I want to make sure that we're flowing. I want to make sure that we're good. I want to make sure we're good. Okay, so here we go. So in terms of identifying that target audience, how do we do that, John? How do I identify my target audience? We go right here. First things first. You need to identify who needs to hear your message first. Good, Super Dre. Good. You need to identify who needs to hear your message first, right? If you're taking notes, write this down. Who is the person that needs to hear your message first? That's first. Secondly, we need to identify, what problem will my podcast solve? What problem will my podcast solve, right? What am I helping people with? What am I helping them overcome? Right? If you're somebody like Ruth said, unbelievers, well, in Ruth's case, she would want to go where unbelievers are. Right? And then she would want to share that content with them. But first, it's going to start by her recording that content on her platform. Right? Recording that content on her platform. And then we're going to ask ourselves, where do these people hang out? The people that I desire to reach, where do they hang out? Are they at the movies? Are they at the mall? Are they at the library? Are they at the church? Are they at the bookstore? Are they at the coffee shop? Are they at happy hour? Where are these people? The people that I desire to reach, where are they? And then we want to begin to think, well, after I know where they're at, after I know what they're facing, after I know what their challenges are, right? We want to know what magazines they're reading, what podcasts they listen to, what shows they watch. We want to know all of these things. And then these things will help us be able to really nail them down. And then if we find one of them, we'll find two of them. And if we find two, then we'll find four. If we find four, we'll find 16. Is this making sense? If this is making sense, let me know down in the chat. Let me know down in the chat if this is making sense. Let me know down in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. All right, all right. And then look, then the fourth question we have to ask ourselves, what skill or experience do I have within the subject? Right? And we're asking ourselves based on, right? We're asking ourselves this based on the people that we desire to help through our show. Right? What skill do I have? What experience do I have? And we want to know this because why? Why do we want to know this? We want to make sure that we know this because then we can lean into it. This is something that we can leverage. Because the skill set that you have as somebody who's in real estate, you can help all newbies that desire to learn more about real estate, that desire to get into the real estate market. Right? Would you agree? Yeah. Okay. So understanding that, this is now what I want you to be focused on, right? Because I asked you earlier, what's the purpose? What's the purpose of your podcast? What's the purpose of your podcast? But this is what I really want you to get into. This is what I really want you to get into, okay? Now, you need to begin to identify this right here. You need to begin to identify what is your selfish purpose for your podcast. Some of y'all said make money. Some of y'all said make an impact. That's great. But we need to get really clear on what our selfish purpose is for our podcast. What is our selfish purpose for the platform, right? You might want to be able to generate revenue so you can get off the job. You might want to create your podcast, build the authority so that people will come to you for coaching, for consulting, to be able to get trained by you, for you to speak to their group, for you to educate, right? If you're taking notes, write this down. What is your selfish purpose for your podcast? Selfish. I want you to be selfish on this one. I don't want you to think about what everybody else needs. They're going to get what they need. I need you to identify what you need to get out of this thing. Okay? And then we got to get really clear on who's our show for. Is it for men? Is it for women? Is it for single parents? Is it for divorced parents? Is it for married couples? Is it for entrepreneurs? Is it for wives? Is it for husbands? Is it for teens? Is it for college students? And then once we begin to get clear on it like that, we want to go a layer deeper. If we say it's for college students, then we want to say, well, okay, it's for college students. Well, I actually would love to talk specifically to freshman college students. And he said, I actually would love to talk to 18-year-old freshman female college students. And once we get that clear, right, we drill down that much within this thing, that's when we get to the place to where we begin to say, now I can get some real clarity, okay? Now I can get real clarity. And then the last thing you want to begin to ask yourself is, how can I help my listener achieve a goal? How can I help my listener achieve a goal? Is it going to be through you telling them stories? Is it going to be through you giving them examples? Is it going to be through you taking the time to break down real, tangible stories? Is it going to be you interviewing different people that you've already coached and worked with and helped? We need to get clear on what goal we're helping them ultimately achieve. And the reason why we have to get clear on that, because we want to be in the position to where we look up and we say, oh, wow, they started at square one. Now they're at square five. I was able to help them get clarity within their life, within their business. Okay? Within their life, within their business. Now I wanna pause really quick, and I want to see if there's any questions. Well, before I do that, let me actually. Okay, we talked about purpose. Yep. Okay, I'm gonna go a little bit deep. Y'all want me to go a little bit deeper? Y'all want me to go a little bit deeper tonight? I feel like going a little bit deeper. I feel like going a little bit deeper. Y'all want me to go a little bit deeper? If y'all want me to go deeper, just comment deeper in the chat. Comment deeper in the chat. Deeper. If you want me to, if y'all haven't got enough tonight, you want me to go a little bit deeper, just let me know in the chat. Because I want to make sure I don't give you too much. Let me know. If y'all want me to keep going, Super Dre said keep going. Huh? Anybody else? Anybody else hadn't had enough tonight? Dre said keep going. Okay. Look, this is what we're going to do. All right. So I'll go a little bit deeper. All right. So, and then I'll see if we got some questions after this. All right. So before I go deeper, let me make sure that we just I want to give y'all this homework, because I want y'all to get clear on this before we even move forward. Because I'll go deeper. Okay, so before I get to that, I want to go right here. And I want to make sure that y'all got something tangible. I'm always tangible. I want to give people the tangible. So what I want to do is, your homework is for you to describe your dream listener. All right? I want you to describe your dream listener. Just like what I was talking about earlier, like who is that person to where when they hear this content, they'll be able to benefit, right? When they hear this content, they will be somebody who says, wow, this is just for me. Wow, I've been looking for this content for I don't know how long, right? So your homework is to identify who that person is, okay? Who that person is, all right? The next part of the homework is identify what's the current struggle. What's the current struggle that they're currently facing, right? What's the current struggle that they're facing right now, today, 2021? What is the struggle that they're facing? 2024. Oh my God, I said 2021. What? So we want to know what's the current struggle they're facing. What are they struggling with? What's overwhelming them? What's something that's keeping them up at night? What is this thing? Okay. We want to know that. And then lastly, we have to know what they desire. Because some people, the struggle, the pain is what will drive them to taking action and doing something. But for others, the pleasure is what will drive them to taking action. Okay. That will drive them to taking action. All right. So we good on that homework. Do that, and I promise me you will thank me later. I promise. I promise. I promise. So look, y'all, this is what I'm doing. As y'all know, this is the 2-day podcast, the 2-day podcast challenge. And I want to make sure that I present the opportunity for you all. For those of you might be saying, John, this is great, but how do I get more access? Well, look, you get more access by joining the VIP, right? Join the VIP. The VIP is only $97. In the VIP, you'll get access to these recordings because after the challenge is over, we'll take the recordings down. But you join the VIP, you'll get access to this recording and the one tomorrow. And also you'll get a bonus session to where we go in deep. And then I will talk with you more about your podcast and also help you get more clarity. All right. So hit that link in the chat if you're trying to tap in with the VIP. And I look forward to seeing you there. We only have 3 slots for VIP. So once you join VIP, go ahead, comment in the chat VIP, and we'll celebrate you as such. All right. So now I want to go to stage 2 where we're talking about naming the podcast. We're going to get to the technical stuff later, but I want to talk about naming the podcast. And here is how we start. Let me shrink myself a little bit first because I'm blocking the entire screen. Okay. So let's shrink myself just a little bit. And we'll shrink a little bit. Okay. And then we'll get it going. All right. Okay, so look, first thing that you want to consider before you come up with a podcast name, you want to do your research. You hear me? You want to do your research. John, why do I want to do my research? Because your current brand, you want to make sure that your podcast name lines up with your current brand. You want it to complement each other. It just makes sense, right? So that's the first thing. Secondly, what do we want to do? Secondly, you want to look at keywords. You want to look at other names and think about topics that fall within your industry. If this is making sense, drop a 1 in the chat. All right. We want to identify these things. Why do we want to identify these things? In your industry, there are certain keywords people use that are within that industry only. So we want to use words and we want to use names that will make that light bulb come on in their head that, oh, this is for me, right? This is for my industry. You know what I'm saying? This is for me, right? And then the topics that you cover. You don't want to cover anything and everything. We're going to break down that a little bit more later. But what I want to share with you now is you want to make sure that you're covering topics that line up with the goal, the selfish purpose that you have for your podcast. Why do we want to do that? At the end of the day, if your podcast is not accomplishing the goal that you desire for it to accomplish, it's your fault. Because you didn't set it up the right way. You want to set up your podcast the right way so that people will hear, they'll see, and then they'll eventually understand that you're the authority that they need to be working with. If we're clear on that, give me a 2 in the chat. And then you want to use your Googles. You want to look in podcast categories. You want to see what are other titles that people have used to name their shows. Why do we want to look at that? We want to look at that because we want to know what titles are already out there. We want to know what titles have already been used. We want to know what titles we should stay away from. And the reason why we want to do this is because this is doing our due diligence. If we don't take the time to identify a show, to identify a title that has not been used or used in the way that we desire for it to use, that's going to throw us off. And that's not what we want. Okay? And then, do you want to use the word podcast in your title? Or do you even want to use the word show in your title? That's on you. You get to make that decision. Some people might say this isn't a podcast, this is a show. Some people might say this is a podcast. It's not a show. It's a podcast. So you get to make that decision. Creative control, creative freedom. It's on you. Use that choice and use that decision wisely. Okay? And then number 6, think of inspirations. Pull from inspiration. When I wrote my first book, I pulled from one of the Steve Harvey books for inspiration. Why? Because he had a format that I said, this is the way that I want to write my book. This is easy to read, has self-reflection writing prompts. I'm going to do that. You can do the same thing for your podcast. All right? So do the same thing. And look at this. This is some titles from Podcast Directory. You might say, John, why is this even in here? Why is this on here? What are you doing with this? Well, look, I want you to look at all the different podcasts that are named or start with Let's Talk. Let's Talk Podcast. Let's Talk with apostrophe. Let's Talk Trains. Let's Talk After Dark. Let's talk about myths, baby, Greek, and Roman mythology. Let's talk about addiction. Let's talk exclamation, Bitcoin. Let's talk about it with Taylor Nolan. Let's talk to Lucy. Let's talk all these. Let's talk. After seeing this alone should let you know, just like the Bible tells us, there's nothing new under the sun. So you could say, but John, I was going to name my podcast, Let's Talk with John, or Let's Talk with Ruth, or Let's Talk with Greg. You could still name it that. Just be aware that when you tell people the name of your show or podcast, when they search for it, you want it to be as easy as possible to find. Okay? Does that make sense? If that makes sense, let me know in the comments. If that makes sense, let me know. Because here's the deal. Here's the deal, family. Here's the deal. You can name your show whatever you want to name it, but if nobody can find it, what good is whatever name that you come up with? It's no good at all. Okay? It's no good at all. So, after we come up with the name, okay? After we come up with the name for our show, the next thing that we want to do, this is the fun part. You want to create podcast cover art, okay? So look, some of y'all might be artsy. Some of y'all might not be. However, podcast cover art is the next step. And in order to create your podcast cover art, what's going on, Stephanie? You need to make the dimensions either 14 by 1400 or 3000 by 3000, okay? And the image can be a JPG, it can be a PNG, it can be a JPEG. What it cannot be is it cannot be a PDF, okay? So it needs to be a graphic, and it's going to be a box, right? It's going to be like a square. That's going to be your cover art. And if you're not sure of how to create your cover art, here are my top 5 recommendations. You can go on Canva if you want to create it yourself, right? You can go in, create it yourself. You can go to Designer. That's one of those AI platforms. You can go to Snappa. You can go to 99 Design. That's where you can pay anywhere from like 150 upwards. And then they have graphic designers that ultimately compete for your business. And then they'll give you ideas and you can say, no, I don't like this. I don't like that. I don't like this. And then they'll come back with some other options for you to choose from. Or you can even go to Fiverr. In Fiverr, it's just starting at anywhere from like $5 upwards. But it all depends, okay? But these are my top 5 recommendations when it comes to you creating podcast cover art. And in our program, in our Get Paid with Podcasting program, we have a further breakdown of how you can create your cover art and even walking you through some of the more intricacies of it all. But that is the program where we have put together a boot camp where it's 6 weeks, where I'm walking with you. We have calls every single Monday, and I give you hands-on, tangible application for your podcast and how you can take your podcast, level it up, and even get paid from your podcast. All right. So that's our boot camp that we do. But that is a program that I'm very proud of. I'm very proud of. We have different clients like Coach Ed Jones was able to he's been able to generate just under $40,000 in less than 2 years from his platform. Then we got Dr. Derek Burgess. He was able to get like 5 speaking engagements in less than 2 months. But that's our Get Paid with Podcast and community, y'all. And I'm very proud of the community. Very proud of that. Okay. So this is what I want to show y'all now. As we are talking about podcast cover art, this was my podcast cover art for Beyond the Ball, right? And this is a podcast to where I talk about helping student athletes beyond their sport, right? So in terms of creating your podcast cover art, you want to keep in mind, what can I create or what can I have somebody else create to where when people see the cover art, they understand, okay, they're going to cover the content that I want them to cover. Now I'm looking to learn. The podcast cover art is attractive enough to where I want to actually click on it. And lastly, it makes me want to scroll down to read and learn more about the show, right? This is one of my podcast cover arts. Then this is another one, Speak Your Success, where I interview entrepreneurs and business owners and different individuals like that. And then we have Bookology. This was a podcast that I co-hosted with my father, Dr. Fred Jones. And Bookology is all about books. He talks about helping authors write books and helping them navigate and really go forward and be able to elevate in that process. Okay. And if y'all are getting value so far from this training tonight, go ahead and smash that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it if you smash that subscribe button here on the YouTube, because we're adding value and we're helping you to get that podcast up and running. And if you want to get more content like this and more content for your entrepreneurial journey, hit that subscribe button. All right. Then we have some of our clients that we've worked with. Here we have Coach Tamika James and her podcast, Entrepreneurs Speak, right? Her branding colors are yellow, black, and white. So she titled her podcast, Entrepreneurs Speak. You see what I'm saying? She was interviewing different entrepreneurs. Then we have Coach Maury down here. It's Mondays with Maury, where him and his co-hosts were interviewing different guests, and they were guests from all different walks of life, right? But check out his cover art. Got the yellow on it, got a picture of him, got a picture of his co-host. Y'all are getting the trend, you're getting the theme. Then we got Unlearn the Lies right here with Abraham Scully. He talks about mental health. So helping people unlearn the lies around mental health. And then we have On the Court with Antoine Harris. Okay, On the Court with Antoine Harris. And Antoine is a former basketball coach, but he's helping people get clear on life around and beyond the court. Y'all see where we're going? See where we're going? Y'all get me? You picking up what I'm putting down? Picking up what I'm putting down? So wanted to break this down and wanted to share this with you all, and just make sure that you know and understand, right, that when it comes to your podcast cover art, there's a few things that we need to know, right? Few things we need to know. And I'm going to break this down, and then we're going to wrap. We're going to wrap after this. So the first thing you want to know is right here, okay? You want to create a clever name. Y'all with me? You want to create a clever name. John, what do you mean create a clever name? Well, this is what I mean. Like I was talking about earlier, but I wanted to do it right here so you can get more clarity on the slide. Can people find it? Is it easy to discover? Is it simple? Is it clear? And is it clever? Is it SEO friendly? Is it trademarked? Has somebody else trademarked the name that you want to name your show? Google that name and see if it's on iTunes library already or not. Do people actually understand the name? And then can you get the .com on that name? Right? We want to be sure that we can get the .com on it. right? And then creating a clever name. Look, I'll do an example right here. Like I said, my show is called Beyond the Ball. Is that clear? Yes, it is, because it's helping people go beyond the ball, helping them succeed beyond their degree, beyond their sport. And that's why I have on a suit or sports coat jacket and a dress shirt, because I want people to see, yes, I have the ball in my hand, but I'm not in like a jersey. This is showing transition and elevation. Okay. Then is it simple? Is it clear? Is it taken? That's something that you need to begin to think through and assess for yourself. Is it simple? Is it clear? Is it taken? And we want to make sure that we know that, because if it's already taken, then you probably don't want to use that name, right? Don't want to use that name, okay? Don't want to use that name. And then when we talk about having a podcast stand out, this is images from the top, I think it's 100 podcasts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10. No, top 50 podcasts. This is the top 50 podcasts in Apple. As you see, these stand out. They pop. How are they standing out? How are they popping? Let's go a layer deeper. They catch your eyes with the color. They have bright or bold colors that are popping. They have large font that's easy to read. And just like I said before, there's 99 designs right there. 99 designs is a way that you can get people to compete for your business, and get people to compete to where you will be in the spot to where they'll give you options to choose from, right? They'll give you options to choose from for your cover art and everything like that. So before I give you the homework, I'm gonna let y'all know one more time. We have the VIP. The VIP is open. We have 2 more slots left in the VIP, but the VIP is just $97 to join the VIP. You'll get access to these recordings after the challenge. You'll get lifetime access. You'll also get a bonus session with me where I'll dive into your specific questions, and also to where I will give you hands-on, tangible, practical insight and coaching around you and your specific podcast, okay? But now it's your time. It's your turn. I just dropped that link in the chat. Like I said, we have 2 more slots for the VIP, and it's only $97. So what we have for your homework is, now I want you to take the time, and I want you to think about what's important and essential for people to know about your podcast. So what's going to be the name of your podcast and your cover art? I want you to go and create your cover art. You can go on Canva. You can go on Canva, create your own. You can go on Fiverr and pay somebody. You can go on 99 Designs and pay somebody a little bit more. But I suggest you just go on Canva and get creative tonight. Your cover art, you can change at any given point. You do not have to be married to your cover art, okay? So understanding that, you can switch it at any point, okay? So that's the homework for tonight. If you already haven't identified, you got to identify the target audience. You got to identify what's the purpose of your podcast, which everybody listed already in the chat. But then I want to see some cover art. Okay, I want to see your cover art. I want to see your cover art. I want to see your cover art. Post it. Take a screenshot and tag me on Instagram at Jonathan Jones Speaks. Let me know you created your cover art. Let me know you got value from tonight. Send me a DM on Instagram at Jonathan Jones Speaks. Let me know you got value from tonight. And yeah, I just listed off the resources that we just talked about from earlier. Okay. So that is going to wrap us up tonight. That's going to wrap us up. It's going to wrap us up. Family, one more time, if you have not already hopped into the VIP, like I said, we have 2 more slots for the VIP. Go ahead, hit that link, getpaidwithpodcasting.com, and hit the VIP. Sign up for the VIP. Also, if you got value from tonight's training, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. because this is the type of content that we bring to the page. This type of content we bring to the channel to add value to you, to add value to your entrepreneurship journey, and then ultimately giving you hands-on, tangible, tactical skills and tools that you can apply to your business. And lastly, if you saying, John, I'm not gonna subscribe on YouTube and I'm not gonna join VIP, well, what you need to do is just follow me on Instagram at Jonathan Jones Speaks. Okay. But other than that, family, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. Thanks so much for rocking for day one. We're gonna come back tomorrow with day two of the 2-day podcast challenge. 2-day get paid with podcasting podcast challenge. All right. And for those of you who are here tomorrow, we're gonna have a special offer for you. We have a special offer. Like I told y'all a little bit today about the Get Paid with Podcasting Bootcamp. But if you join both days of the challenge, we're gonna have a special offer for you. So all right, family, until next time, Jonathan Jones, peace and God bless.